Welcome back, all of you, to the online class of biology. So, in the last videos, we have studied about nutrition and respiration, isn't it? So, now we are going to study another topic, that is transport. Okay, transport. In plants, we will study first and then we'll go to the transport in animals. So, what do you mean by transport? The transport or the materials should be transported from one part of the body to the other part of the body, so that process is called what? Transport, isn't it? Transportation. So let's study transport in plants, how it takes place. So what are the major materials that plants need to transport? You can see they need carbon dioxide, oxygen, isn't it? Water, etc. for the photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide, oxygen, etc. they get from atmosphere, isn't it? Then water, also they need some nutrients like what? Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium. All this they need. These are known as minerals. Okay, so these minerals has to be absorbed from the soil by the roots, and it should be transported to the various parts of the plant. They need all this nutrients or minerals also, isn't it? So water, minerals, then anything else they need to get transported. Yes, they need to transport what? Prepared food. Food preparation mainly where it takes place? In leaves, isn't it? Due to photosynthesis, or during the process of photosynthesis they prepare food, and this food is needed by each and every cell of them, isn't it? So this is done by the transport of food. Okay, so food materials also should be transported. In addition to that, hormones. Plants, have you heard about plant hormones? Yes, plants are also having some hormones. Okay, some amino acids. So many things has to be transported in plants also. So generally we can say the major materials that need to be transported in plants are water and minerals. Okay, and then what? The food materials, and also certain amino acids, hormones, etc. Okay, and see the transport in plants. Okay, that is a slow process, relatively slow transport system they are having. In our body, animals body, there is an organ, pumping organ known as heart. So in plants, as such, there is no organ to pump the blood, or there is no body fluid like our blood. So water itself, okay, is conducting what? Minerals also. Minerals are also getting transported through the conduction of water. So water and minerals, they are transported by a tissue known as xylem. Last year you would have studied, isn't it? And the phloem, okay, helps in the transport of products of photosynthesis, and also certain kind of amino acids, hormones, etc. So the major materials to be transported are water, minerals, prepared food, and hormones. So xylem helps in the conduction of water and minerals, and phloem helps in the transport of food, okay, and other materials. Okay, so let's study first transport of water. Okay, so transport of water is also known as ascent of sap. Okay, ascent of sap. And in small plants like herbs, okay, or what to say, in small plants, simple diffusion, okay, from one cell to the next cell, simple diffusion is enough for the transport of water. But in case of large plants, long plants, taller plants, okay, so simple diffusion cannot do all this, means cannot be functional in transporting water and minerals to such a long distance. So in this, there is another theory known as transpiration pull theory that explains the transport of water. Okay, so transpiration pull theory is the most accepted theory which explains the ascent of sap. What do you mean by ascent of sap? The conduction of water. Okay, conduction of water, upward conduction of water is called what? Ascent of sap. Okay, so first of all, if it has to be transported, it has to be absorbed from the where? From the soil, isn't it? So if you see the structure of a what root, okay, you can see that there will be what? Root hairs. If these are soil particles, okay, soil particles containing water, there will be what? An epidermis, okay, then cortex is there, and pericycle, and then the xylem. Okay, xylem will be there. Okay, so water will be absorbed into the root hairs. Do you remember what are root hairs? They are single celled. What? Single celled. Okay, they are root hairs are having only a single cell in the epidermis. From the epidermis, what is epidermis? The outermost layer of root, stem, or leaf. Okay, so in the roots you can see the epidermis is having single unicellular outgrowths known as root hairs, and from there water will be getting absorbed into this, and from there, see, if this particular cell is having more concentration of water, by simple diffusion or osmosis, what will happen? The water will enter into the cells, adjacent cells, and from there it will be reaching to the xylem. And xylem, what happens? Xylem is having a continuous what? Continuity from roots to what? The other parts of the plant, like what? Stem, leaves, etc. So once the water is absorbed from the soil, it will be reaching into the xylem, and from the xylem it will be going upward. Okay, so this upward conduction can be explained by simple diffusion in small plants or short plants, but in case of taller plants this is not enough. Okay, so this can be explained by what? By a process known as transpiration. Okay, or it can be explained by a theory known as transpiration pull theory. Okay, so transpiration pull theory, what it says is, what do you mean by transpiration? Have you heard about transpiration? The loss of water in the form of water vapor is called what? Transpiration. Okay, so it is also known as necessary evil because plants lose a lot of water through this. But at the same time, transpiration helps in the absorption of water and conduction of water. How it helps in the absorption of water? So let's study transpiration pull theory in detail. Okay, so according to transpiration pull theory, what happens? The xylem vessels or xylem in the plant, that is from roots to stem to leaves, they exist as a continuous column. Okay, continuous column. As a continuous column, the xylem vessels or xylem exist. Is it clear? Then, and there is some force of attraction of molecules of water. Okay, that is known as cohesion. Okay, so due to what? The attraction of similar molecules, water molecules exist as a continuous column. Okay, so xylem forms a pipe like structure, continuous pipe like structure. In that, what is there? Water is there, and water is existing as a continuous column. Okay, due to the force of attraction between the water molecules. Is it clear? Now, at that time, what happens? Due to transpiration. What is transpiration? Evaporation of water from the leaves. Okay, so what will happen? Here, a low pressure will be created due to the evaporation of water. So, due to that, okay, here more means water is getting evaporated from here. So, here the pressure of water molecules, concentration of water molecules will be less here. So, what will happen? From the downside, okay, a sucking force, a pulling force will be experienced, okay, towards the upper part of the plant. That will help to pull water which is existing as a continuous column in the xylem vessels. So this is what transpiration pull theory. So what is transpiration pull theory? I told how absorption of water takes place here, I told. So continuously what happened, water will get absorbed into this, okay, and in this column of xylem, okay, xylem vessels which is extending from roots to stem to leaves. They are existing as a continuous pipe like structure, and in that water exists as a continuous column without any bubbles or any break. Okay, so due to what evaporation, water will get what lost from the upper part of the plant, okay, from the leaves, and here what happened, the concentration of water, or here the pressure will be less. So what will happen, from the downside where more pressure is there due to the absorption of water, water will be what pushed towards the upper part, or in from the upper part a pulling force will be experienced. You can just imagine this with sucking of juice with the help of a straw. If you are sucking the juice from a glass with the help of a straw, how you will be getting the juice? By sucking it, okay, a suction force or a pulling force will be experienced. So this will help in the what upward conduction of water. Just imagine a tall plant which is taller than our second story building, how water is getting entered into the upper part of the leaf. So simple diffusion cannot explain this. It will be explained by what better, it is better explained by another theory known as transpiration pull theory. So what is transpiration pull theory? Transpiration plays an important role in the ascent of sap. How it is helping? The water which is absorbed by the roots, okay, in the xylem vessels exist as a single column, okay, and due to transpiration in the upper part of the vessels, okay, exist a pressure will get reduced, and from the lower part of the vessels, okay, suction force will be forming, and that pulls the water from the lower part of the plant. Clear? So in this way, transpiration pull helps in the conduction of water or ascent of sap. Is it clear? Okay. Then next we are going to study about the transport of food and other substance. So if you compare the transport of food and other substances, okay, food, amino acids, hormones, etc., this is little bit different, okay. How? Because transport of food takes place through what, a tissue, conducting tissue called phloem, okay. Phloem, components of phloem, do you remember? Sieve tubes, companion cells, okay, phloem parenchyma, phloem fibers, last year you have studied. So sieve tubes are also column like cells, okay, but here the difference is, okay, the difference is what, the transport of food and other material is a energy requiring process or an active process, okay. So where the food will be mainly formed in the leaves, okay, and also food will be stored in different parts of the plant, like what, roots. Some of the plants store food in the roots. Can you give example? Like what? And some of them can store in stem. Can you give example? Okay, so from this parts the plants may derive food also. So the transport in phloem can be multidirectional also. So from where the food is what loaded, or from the part from where the food is entering into the phloem, that is known as the source, and where it is needed is known as sink, okay. So the food which is stored in the different parts of the plant, or like roots, stem, from there also food can be transported, okay. So from anywhere, Okay, from the source, that can be a leaf or that can be a root or stem, from wherever. If the food is loaded into the phloem, okay, it needs energy, so only it is known as what? Active transport. So after entering into the sieve tubes, okay, what happened from the adjacent cells, water also enters into this, and this creates a high pressure in that part where the food is loaded into the sieve tubes. Okay, from the adjacent cells what also enters? Water. So in that area there will be more what, there will be more pressure. Okay, so food made by the leaves, that will enter into the what, phloem, and from the adjacent cells water also enters, and this creates what, a pressure in the this region, that will be distributed to different parts. Okay, that will lead to the distribution of food to different parts. So in this way only what happens, the translocation or the conduction of food and different materials are taking place in plants. So differences between this transport of food and transport of water, can you say? Transport of food takes place through phloem and the other is through xylem. Okay, and transport of food is a multi-directional process. In any way it can take place, but the other one is a unidirectional one. Okay, xylem, the transport in xylem is unidirectional. Okay, transport in phloem is active process, it requires energy, and the transport in xylem or the conduction of water and minerals is a passive process where no energy is needed. So I hope you understood this.